everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Pint Half Full. My name's Gary, I'm going to be your host for today, and I'm joined by the lovely Charlie and Chris. How are we?
Very good, you?
I'm very good.
Yeah, not too bad. It's a little bit cold, but I think we're doing all right.
So
Pint Half Full is a new podcast that we're running to get men talking, right? We're trying to talk about our feelings. We have a bit of trouble, but yeah, we want people to kind of talk over a pint. And when we say a pint, we don't mean you've got to have a pint of beer. It can be a water, a coffee. Don't feel pressure from other people to drink alcohol just to talk about your feelings. But yeah, let's crack on. Charlie, what's your first topic? What do you want to chat about?
Your biggest fears. So I'm going to start off mine with like big open water, like where you just don't know what's underneath you. Like, because I've watched
like a massive lake or like ocean, or you just mean like the I don't know.
Any water, right? Not your like swimming pool or anything or bath or anything, but I mean like
just to let you know, I don't
Jaws, Jaws, Piranha 3D. That's all scarred me. So yeah.
So are you saying that actually the fear is sharp-teethed fish, or is it a really deep pond?
Well, no, because you could get like an octopus. You could get anything. Like
you can get an octopus.
Yeah.
Is it swimming in the sea or like being even on a boat?
Well, I'm not really good at swimming either. So.
Oh, okay. Right. Now we'll get to the root of the problem, right? It's the fear is in the water itself. It's the fact that Charlie didn't swim with armbands.
It's not that I can't swim. It's just eventually I just get tired and give up swimming. So then eventually I start drowning.
Yeah, that is actually the aim, is to not drown when you're out swimming. So where do you think that came from?
Yeah, well, I mean, seeing like a couple of these films, like where they get eaten or something, and I mean, we're not in our element. Like, we're supposed to be land creatures. Like, why are we in the water? Like, that is not a place.
Yeah, do you know what? I agree with you a little bit.
Yeah.
I lived in NZ for 10 years, right? Beaches everywhere. Within 20 minutes, you're in a banging tropical beach. Fucking can't stand it.
Yeah.
I'm not a beach fan. Sand, get
yeah,
away from me.
No.
Getting wet, I don't like getting my hair wet. Right? And it's just a ball ache. I fucking hate water. It doesn't mean it. I'm not scared of it. But I can understand that, yes, there are, in NZ in particular, there's nothing that will kill you, right? Apart from too much weed. But in Australia, everything will fucking kill you, right? There's lots of stuff that will kill you.
Do you have those sea urchins? Sea urchins?
I don't know. I try not to go in the sea.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Who knows?
Yes. I can understand that. You know, it's almost like the fear of the unknown, right? There could absolutely be a bloodthirsty shark wanting a bit of like sunburnt ginger Charlie was hanging out at the beach because he stopped swimming and he's actually drowning, flapping about, right? Monks, tell me, what's your fear?
Mine would be spiders.
Ooh, that's a classic.
Any type of spider.
Any type of spider. I remember when I was in Australia, I lived there for a bit and I slept in a mate's garage, and then I woke up and there was a huge spider beside me.
Oh God!
And I think that wasn't what got me scared of them, but that was terrifying.
I think a little bit of poo would come out if I saw that.
I just can't stand them. I think no matter what size, I just can't. Yeah, I just can't deal with them.
I can't do it. Georgia, my wife, absolutely petrified, right? And Garrison, my son, 2.5, right? He is now scared of spiders. Well, he's not scared. He's more like, rather than scared of it. But that is obviously off of the back of Georgia screaming running around the house for a tiny little daddy long legs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think I've got the same thing though, because I'm not scared of spiders, but I'm a bit grimmed out by them. Like, I wouldn't go up to a spider and pick it up.
Yeah,
like, they're a bit
I would
weird.
definitely try and avoid picking up a spider.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry. All the vegans out there, but I will stamp on it. Right? I won't put a glass over it.
Murderer.
Paper, right? But yes, spiders, absolutely. Like I said, I'm not scared. I'm not like run away because you have to like, show a brave face when the wife is screaming, standing on a chair.
Man of the house.
Flicking the towel at it, emptying a can of Raid on a tiny fucking spider. Right? But yes, that is a classic fear. For me, and I spoke about this in the last podcast, right? I've got a fear of flying. And actually, if I kind of go up a level, I think I've got this active brain that puts scenarios in there. And I do it for work, but also like danger scenarios, right? I could be walking along like cliffside. I often don't put myself in that situation, I'll be honest. I'm not like out walking cliffs on a daily basis. But let's say I'm cliffside, in my head, I've pictured myself falling off the edge.
Yeah.
And I'm so scared. Or like when you're driving like through the Alps again. I'm very rarely driving through the Alps in like a fucking convertible Jag, right? With my silk scarf flapping in the air.
All your hair going everywhere.
Nicole, Papa. But what I'm in my head as I'm driving, I've got like that weird feeling in your balls, right? When you almost like you go over a hump.
Yes, I get that all the time.
So I get that feeling when I'm near a cliff edge, because in my head I've crashed off the side and my car's gone down and blown up, right? It's like Final Destination. I have this premonition. And it's so bad. So my fear is like everything. I've got like this doom scenario thing going on in my head all the time. You know, like for example, oh God, it even happened earlier today when we were rehearsing for the girls' podcast. Capital Convo, definitely go check it out.
Plug.
I was sitting here and I heard like this buzzing kind of in the corner, and I was like, oh my God, one of the plugs is like sparking, it's going to blow up, we're all going to burn and die. Actually, it was the fencing company next door cutting a bit of wood. So,
seeing all the nearest exits, where do I leave?
I sorted that out months ago. I'll do that on a plane as well.
Dive out the window.
Yeah, I have planned out and built a PDF on my escape route if ever there was a fire. You think I'm up in the Belfry, right? I'm up there's a long way down. I have to work out how to climb down, fucking
fit out the window.
Out the window, down the gutter, across.
Tie some sheets together, like lower yourself.
Yeah, the random dog lies by itself, and then I'm out. And then I'll ring you guys and say, "Hey, there's a fire. You better get out." Okay, cool. Yes, all totally rational fears. Spiders, deep water, and everything. My topic that I wanted to bring to the table was about stress, right? And I think this is, sorry to bring the mood down a little bit, this is a topic that we don't necessarily talk about as men as much as we should do. Or I don't, should I say. I'm generalising, right? And I think there's a lot of times where I have been really stressed. In fact, God, I saw a photo of myself when I first started the business 6 years ago. And I look at a photo of me now, I'm pretty much got a white beard. Like, whereas the beard when I started 6 years ago is like luscious and golden brown, healthy, and now I'm like, I'm covered in greys because of the stress of managing the business. But the reason I wanted to talk about the stress was, sometimes, the purpose of the podcast and purpose for us kind of having a chat is to get men chatting more. But I have this problem where I get stressed at work because it is difficult running a business, right? There is loads of things, there's loads of variances, there's not enough money coming in, losing clients, complaints. Obviously, we don't have all of those all the time. We're very good at what we do, and we're relatively successful. But there are still stresses of like managing the people as well, because there's an element of well-being. And let's say, for example, the business struggles for a bit, which we did a while ago. We kind of went through a kind of a consultation period around redundancies, which, and then we won this client that kind of saved everybody's jobs, which was great. Yeah. And that period there is so stressful for me anyway. Obviously, it would be stressful for you guys, but it's so stressful for me. But I can't show face.
Can't talk about it.
Do you know what I mean? Because I need to kind of keep a certain level of confidence and energy around the people that I look after, so they all don't jump ship and die kind of thing. I need to kind of say, no, everything's okay. It's a bit like that meme where there's like a dog. Oh, no, pizza delivery guy. It's a pizza delivery dog. And he walks in, no, everything's fine. And then it cuts to a wider shot and the entire place is burning down. Right? So it's that kind of stuff where I know I should be talking about my stress levels. But I can't, and because I need to show face, I need to keep everybody happy, right? Yeah. And also, quite sadly, lost a family member last week, and that kind of added a whole different level of stress for me, because yes, I took some time off. It was more kind of emergency, needed to look after my son because my mum was out and she looked after him on Tuesdays or whatever, and it was difficult to process what had happened, because I also, let's picture my stress as a 1 litre flask, right? And the stress was already at like 90%. Adding the family member passing away put it over that 110, over that 100 mils. And I didn't have enough room to put the stress of the family member passing away into that bottle. And it kind of spilled out a little bit. And actually, and I've not actually mentioned this before, but at the end of last year, it must have been around November, I actually had a bit of a mental breakdown. Like I literally couldn't leave my bedroom for 2 days. Like it's weird to say, and this is actually the whole purpose of the podcast, is that I actually cried for a solid like 8 hours, for 2 days, just basically whilst I was awake. I couldn't see anybody, and I didn't know why. I didn't know how to process it, but I think what it was just like the amalgamation of stress and not addressing it out loud to get past that stage.
Yeah.
And I'm still struggling now, and I think it's a long-term thing, right? I still struggle now on how to process stress. Like, do you guys, when you get stressed, it might be just a simple, oh my God, this edit isn't working, but also to the point where, oh my God, my life is falling apart. Do you guys try and process stress in any way? Is there anything that you specifically do, or do you think you should be better at it?
No, I think I deal with stress in different ways. I think when it's if it's work related, I work well under stress.
Yeah.
I like to be busy. I like to have loads going on. Then there's also the point where I don't like.
So let's just drill on that. So you say you like, absolutely, I love working stressed.
I think I work better.
I handle on the stress. But is that avoidance? Are we ignoring the stress by working harder? Is it something that we need to actually go, shit, there needs to be like a stress alarm, on a computer going, your heart rate's up, you're sweating, you're snapping at people, take an hour.
Well, it's probably if you work harder and you get that done out of the way, because work, it can bleed into your home life as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as soon as you knock that problem out, then hopefully then it's all going to be all right.
Yeah, because I was going to say that's one thing that, taking it home with you, that's the worst thing, and that has happened quite a lot, because then you go home, you're moody, and your own time out of work is kind of ruined from being so stressed,
and it spills onto others. I find if I'm stressed at home, again, I can't. There are some things I can talk about to kind of get it off my chest, but other things that I can't, because I need to show face. Not that I'm lying to my wife or whatever. It's just more. It's best if I don't say it. Because it will make her worry, and it'll just make everything is all okay in the end, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think we briefly spoke about this before, and we only learnt this the other day from that Carver coaching shoot that we did a little while back, where it was about finding out what you're in control of and what you're not in control of, literally writing those down into 2 columns, and then only worrying about or addressing the ones you are in control of and the things that you're not in control of. For example, with the family member passing away, I wasn't in control of that, right? And I wasn't necessarily sad because my family member passed away. I was sad for my mum because it was her brother that had passed away, and I put myself in the situation of my sister, and if it was, and that's what was sad, less so me, being me in mourning, for example, right?
Yeah.
So I think what I'd like to do personally for myself is try and manage the stress. It's never going to go away. Yeah, do you know what I mean? There's always going to be stress.
There's always going to be something, isn't there?
But it's how we manage it, how we process it, how we address it fundamentally, right? So I think, I mentioned again in the previous podcast, it was under New Year's resolutions, right? It's a year of growth. But I think I've been so stressed over the past 6 years doing stuff, and I've floated away from my position of creative director. I've been more of a business operator rather than a creative director, and the stress is sometimes alleviated when I do cool things like being a creative director, So I think this year is not only the year of growth for me and for the business, but I think growth maybe internally myself around how I deal with stress kind of moving forward. Do you know what I mean? So do you have any tips? Have you done anything that's, I now play golf, as you know, because I've got a hole in one. Thanks. But is there like can we go into like, what's it called? Like an anger room. You seen those anger rooms?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I fucking love to do that. I would absolutely love to do that. Where there's like a massive wooden box, a few shitty old CRT TVs, a bunch of bottles of wine and a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
I am there.
Yeah.
Throw on a bit of like, what's it called? Deftones.
Yeah.
White
some
Pony.
heavy metal.
Oh,
some
God.
Slipknot.
Yeah. Wake up.
So I definitely think hobbies. I think distracting, like.
I don't want to distract it. Like
not distracted. That was the wrong word to use. But because as you said, it's never going to go away, right? Yeah. I mean, you can definitely shrink the problem and kind of cope with it better by having that like happy place, if you will, which is that hobby, because you're around different people, your head is free to wonder, and just do that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we just need to have mechanisms to be able to handle the stress. And if anybody listening or anybody watching, let us know in the comments, or drop us an email, hello@capitalcontent.co, and let us know, are there ways that you guys deal with your stress? Is there any things that you particularly do to help process having too much stress? Because like I said, it's always there. You just got to be able to manage it.
But then you say, like with the hobbies, if I'm stressed before a gig, it ruins my gig, and I can hardly play. Yeah, sure. That's how, when I was saying it, I deal with it in different ways, where sometimes I love the stress, but for playing music and having it as a hobby, it's the worst thing that could happen.
It's strange, isn't it, how it comes in different forms? Like, you can be stressed with some things, but like other things that should be stressful don't really faze you.
I think you have got something that's a bit embarrassing, Charlie. I mean, you've always got something great to bring to the table. So tell me, what's your story, mate?
So this probably happened when I just left school.
A couple of years ago.
If you see my beard, I am kind of old now.
Sorry, 18 months ago.
So yeah, basically, I was like a +1 of a +1 around this house, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna have loads of booze there. Don't you worry." This girl had rich parents, and like it was a big garden, and it had a massive hill in the back garden. And so anyway, we get there. I'm like, right, shots. Let's do this. I'm completely unexperienced with alcohol, so I'm like.
So you're saying you hardly knew anybody here, right?
I knew a few people, okay. But like, yeah, it's like I don't know why I was there. But there you go. Yeah. But yeah, so I was expecting vodka, but then gin popped up, and so we were like, right, let's get on it. So 9 shots later.
What, you had done 9 shots?
9 shots later, I stumble outside and I see all my mates down the bottom of the hill, and it's pitch black. Like, there's no like outdoor light, and so like I'm stumbling, like everything's kind of blurry, and so I miss my step like as I'm walking, and I just go tumbling down the hill, and I end up rolling into some like statue thing and smashing it. And then the mum opens the window and shouts down at me like, "What are you doing down there?" So I felt so bad.
Like a concrete, honestly, like Eros.
It was like a well, but like a fake well. Like you could move it.
Right.
It is weird, right? But anyway, so after that, then when you have like flashes of the night, and you've just got big gaps you don't remember. Yeah. So I only remember 3 bits of the night after that. Me waking up with sick all over me in a chair, and then me lying down, right? Me lying down on the person's drive, like at 5 a.m.
Yeah, just passed out.
Yeah, done that.
And then in the back of the mum's car at like 6:30 in the morning. Bless her. I do apologise if you are watching this. But yeah, no, I basically.
You just apologise to the mum. Sorry if I puked in your driveway. Yeah.
No, but it's weird because I went back there the next morning because I felt so bad, and my mum was kind of like, "You do need to go back there and like give her a gift and stuff. Not that it will heal it, but try and do something."
Yeah.
So anyway, we go back, and I bring a bottle of Prosecco down, and so I go back there, and the whole patio and driveway is covered in baby powder.
Oh God.
And I'm like, what the hell? And she's like, yeah, like a load of you guys puked all over the decking and driveway and everything. She just covered the whole place in baby powder. Don't know why baby powder. I think it was to soak it up or something. But like,
I just picture a bunch of like 18-year-olds just puking out the back, like 20.
Puking everywhere. All at the same time.
Oh my God, yeah. But after that, I've never drank gin ever again. Like that is the one thing.
It, yeah.
Oh, even the smell of it just puts me right off.
So talking about blackouts, right? I'll tell you a quick story about not that we condone drinking in blackouts, right? And this is obviously a pint half full, right? This changed to a pint of water half full. But I think it might have been my 18th, or it was when I was at college and we were at one of the Firkin pubs over in Hannah's Beer in Weybridge, right? Yeah. And I was drinking 4-pint pitchers. because I was a student, they were like £4. But then every time I went to the bathroom, the guys were putting shots in the beer for my birthday, right? And I didn't know. Fuck me, I was shit-faced. Honestly, I was so drunk, right? I got home and I was living at home at the time. Went to bed, woke up the next morning, and I went to put a t-shirt on to go downstairs because I lived at home, right? I went to put this t-shirt on and it was wet. I was like, why the fuck is this t-shirt wet? It was a No Fear t-shirt as well, right? And this is in the 90s. I picked up a t-shirt, it was wet, and I was like, oh, why is it wet? And sniffed it, and then instantly my blackout came back into my head. And what I'd done is I'd woken up in the night wanting a piss. Didn't want to walk to the bathroom, didn't want to wake my mum up. So I got to the edge of the bed, leaned the back of my legs onto the corner of the bed, leant forward and started pissing on the floor in my bedroom, in my bedroom, and it was making too much noise. So I grabbed the t-shirt next to me and I threw it on the floor to dampen the sound.
Oh, man.
So I wouldn't wake my mum up. I was like, oh shit, I pissed in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Like straight off the bat, but I was polite. I didn't want to wake my mum up. I was for a No Fear t-shirt down.
Soak it up.
Yes, yeah, the death of the noise.
I can't think of a drunken one, but there's an embarrassing story. Was when I went travelling. We went to Fiji, and I burnt my feet really, really bad.
Well,
like,
the tops of your feet.
Crispy.
Yeah, the tops of my feet. So I was it's like 40 degrees, but I put my feet in the sand, and the sand was so hot it then burnt my feet. But I didn't realise until when I went back, came off the beach, and within like 24 hours there was blisters all over my feet. It was so red. I was also learning to dive, so I was putting like the fin on, and it was just ripping my skin off.
And salt water as well.
But I had paid obviously to do my paddy license, so it was horrible. And I just remember it was so bad I had to have like socks on, but walking around in my speedos, in my swimming trunks, and like I was just but I had to wear socks, and I remember people just looking at me, just laughing, just thinking you look like such a twat.
And Speedos.
I couldn't
you were even more naked.
I couldn't get my feet out because they were that bad. And then after that had kind of calmed down a little bit, my feet went from red to kind of tanned. So I had white legs and tanned feet. And luckily I was away. So after Fiji, I think we went to New Zealand, and then I actually, my white pale legs started to catch up with my feet. But for like a month or so, it was the worst time ever. Couldn't walk, just wanted to go home.
Yeah. Amazing. Look, I think that's a great story, by the way. I think we've chatted enough, and I think that's kind of the purpose of Pint Half Full, is just to get together, have a catch up, talk about our feelings a little bit, try and express a few things just to help us get through the week. So this has been Pint Half Full. Got any comments, got any questions, got any topics you want us to talk about, chuck it in the comments below. Thanks very much for listening, and we will see you again soon. Cheers.
See ya.